The Mac is back,
Mac
baby.
is
Let's
back.
go. It's like a musical. Music to my ears it is. Rob, you know, I'm out so long, 5 years. My body's fresh, my mind is sharp. I'm ready to come back. I've got a great opponent. I've got a great deal off the UFC. I'm very, very happy. They honored me, finally, I say. So, July 11th. And the opponent is a man that I have beaten before in Max Holloway. So, he is an established fighter, an accomplished fighter, former UFC world champion, multiple time. So, this is a quality opponent.
Indeed.
And our last bout was martial arts mastery by yours truly. So I plan on doing it again. I plan on showing my growth, you know, and my improvements in there. So I'm very, very excited for it. Preparation is going very well. We're living, breathing, and sleeping in the gym. Literally.
Here we are.
I live in the gym. I have a base here, and I have a base in my coach John's gym, and I go between them both. So training's going very, very well.
Michael Casa has also liked what he's seen from Conor McGregor ahead of his comeback. In his view, McGregor looks healthier, more disciplined, and mentally sharper than he has in years. Casa says it's not the pre-fight talk that stands out, it's the way McGregor carries himself. Based on everything he's observed, he believes McGregor is fully committed and completely invested in this training camp.
I think we will see Conor in the cage on July 11th. So everything you're seeing leading up to that, do you like it? Does it make you feel better?
I'll say this, okay, and I'll tread lightly. It's not really what he's saying. It's just I like what I see. He just looks healthy. He just looks like he's healthy in a good spot. The mannerisms, the presence looks like a guy that's focused in camp. Not dabbling in any debauchery. You know, the way he looks, he just looks healthy. He looks like a healthy Conor McGregor, healthiest that, you know, I think we've seen in a long time. So, you know, the talk is whatever, but it's what I see is what I like. I think that he's healthy and he's in a very good spot.
Michael Casa believes Max Holloway deserves to enter the fight as the favorite, arguing that his recent activity and consistency make him the safer choice. Even so, he isn't writing Conor McGregor off. Casa points out that McGregor's comeback carries so many unknowns that backing him as the underdog could still prove worthwhile. While Holloway gets his pick, he believes McGregor remains the biggest wildcard in the entire matchup.
66% for Max Holloway, 34% for Conor McGregor. Does that feel like an appropriate, winning percentage for Max, or would you see it being, higher than a two-thirds shots of him winning?
It looks about right. I think that Max should be close to like a 3-1 favorite. I think that's not a bad number. But we'll see. There's so many what ifs with fights like this, and there's going to be a lot of late steam coming. Conor McGregor as an underdog. Now I'll put my betting cap on. Is there some value there to take a chance on him as an underdog? Maybe don't bet the bank, but you could sprinkle on it. But I think safe money would be Max Holloway.
Discussing Conor McGregor's comeback, Georges St-Pierre believes success starts long before fight night. He argues that the toughest training camps are the ones that produce the best results, encouraging fighters to step outside their comfort zones by facing unfamiliar sparring partners and adapting to different styles. In St-Pierre's view, embracing that uncertainty is what builds the confidence and composure needed when the cage door finally closes.
Max Holloway, he suffered a catastrophic injury in that window too. Is the harder part of that comeback, especially fighting someone like Max, who's still on top of his game? Is it more mental or physical?
Yeah, you need to make sure when you prepare yourself, you need to try to recreate that environment, that level of discomfort that you will face. If you stay in your comfort zone during their training camp, it's not good. You need to make sure you bring guys that gonna try to make you uncomfortable, and I'm not only talking about skills and sparring, I'm talking about sometimes it's good to bring guys that you never train with. You have the butterfly, you don't know how they move, you don't know if they're dirty, they're gonna try to hurt me, or you know what I mean?
Georges St-Pierre also believes that if Conor McGregor returns, it will only be for a fight worthy of his legacy. While acknowledging the challenge ahead is enormous, GSP isn't ruling McGregor out. He believes the former champion has the experience and ability to rise to the occasion, making this one of the most intriguing matchups on the UFC calendar and a fight he can't wait to see unfold.
I think if he comes back for big things, and he doesn't come for small things, so he better, it's appropriate. It's appropriate. Of course, if I would be in Conor's camp, I would be like, man, it's, strap in, because it's a hell of a fight, you know. But he can do it. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to tune in for.
Michael Bisping believes the biggest factor in this matchup isn't talent, it's activity. While Conor McGregor has spent years away from the octagon, Max Holloway has continued testing himself against the sport's toughest competition. Bisping still sees McGregor as a dangerous and motivated opponent, but he feels Holloway's recent experience gives him a noticeable advantage in timing, rhythm, and overall sharpness heading into fight night.
On July 11th, which incidentally is 3 days before Conor McGregor's 38th birthday, okay? Not an old man, but certainly not a spring chicken by any accounts, and certainly when it comes to professional fighting. Now, you could argue that he's had 5 years away from the sport, which is true. That's 5 years of not having the wear and tear. That's 5 years of not going through training camps. 5 years of not getting punched on the face, taken down, choked out, all that kind of stuff. The wear and tear, he hasn't been going through that. The man's made an absolute fortune in and outside of the cage, so he hasn't had to do that. He's been chasing business ventures and enjoying himself outside of the octagon. Fair play to him. That is the life that he's built. But he's coming back, right? And Max Holloway, as we know, has been very, very active. I'm not going to sit here and rip on Conor McGregor's career. Far from it, right? He had a sensational career, and the rise that he had, I don't think we'll ever see it. The way that he took over the sport, and to be fair, the way that he's going to take over Vegas when this fight happens. The Irish are going to come out like crazy. The Hawaiians are going to be there in style as well, because of course Vegas is the 9th island, so there's going to be wild fan bases everywhere. The atmosphere of the T-Mobile Arena will be incredible.
Alexander Volkanovski shares a similar view, believing Conor McGregor still has the speed and explosive power to cause serious problems despite his long absence from competition. Even so, Volkanovski expects McGregor to be at his most dangerous early in the fight. If the contest stretches into the later rounds, he believes Holloway's activity, relentless pace, and proven conditioning could gradually shift the momentum in his favor.
A very familiar foe of yours, Max Holloway, will be welcoming Conor McGregor back to the octagon next month, we all hope. If this fight does happen, it's at welterweight. How do you see this going? Can Conor do anything with the fighter you're probably more familiar with than anyone in Max Holloway?
Well, we know that Conor hasn't been in the game for a long time, and I think a lot of people are thinking that he's just going to lose everything, but that's not the case. He's going to be dangerous. He's obviously going to still be very sharp, very explosive, still got a good eye. Is it the exact eye that he had when he was double champ and doing what he was doing? No, probably not, but still going to be very dangerous. And I know Max is going to respect that. Obviously they're going to want to put on a show, but at the same time you're going to know Conor will be very dangerous early. I think Max will make the right decisions to not just get in the fire straight away, and then start to work him later in them rounds. We know that Conor, again, very dangerous, very explosive, but that is going to wear on you, and with that big layoff, even though he's probably training very hard, we know that that's going to eventually wear on him, and that sharpness that I reckon he still has is probably going to deteriorate a lot quicker because of his been out of the game for so long.
Wade Plemons sees this as one of the toughest fights to predict. He believes Conor McGregor still has the edge in raw speed, knockout power, and the experience of having shared the cage with Max Holloway before. At the same time, he points to Holloway's relentless pace and world-class cardio as the biggest factors working in his favor. Plemons also wonders whether years of absorbing punishment in high-volume battles could eventually begin to catch up with Holloway as his career moves forward.
Conor's undersized at 170, but he's also already faced Max, and he also already knows what Max is susceptible to, and does somewhat better when guys are high-volume strikers that don't have a ton of power in their hands. And yes, I do believe that there's a different version of both guys that are fighting. Conor is not the old Conor in good and bad ways, and Max is not the old Max in good and bad ways. I think Max's advantages are his volume, his gas tank. He has weaponized pace and cardio that Conor, it's very difficult for him to keep up the same pace and cardio for 5 rounds. I think Conor obviously has the speed. I think he has the power advantage. I think we'll see if he still has the fight IQ. I think we'll see if he still can walk Max onto punches and set him up and those things. But overall, the biggest thing we're not talking about that we probably should is that Max has run multiple marathons in that cage, and how will that affect his body as he, gets into the later part of his career? He spent his life in there. We've seen Max from when he was a baby, and he hasn't taken any time off like Conor has. It's a massive weakness and one that could turn.
Daniel Cormier sees the situation very differently. He doesn't believe Conor McGregor is a better fighter today than he was 5 years ago, arguing that no athlete can improve without staying active in competition. In Cormier's view, time away from the octagon naturally affects timing and sharpness. It doesn't mean McGregor can't still compete at an elite level, but claiming he's a more complete fighter after years on the sidelines simply doesn't make sense. Cormier expanded on that idea by pointing out how quickly combat sports evolve. He believes McGregor's prime version was capable of beating anyone, but the sport hasn't stood still during his absence. To illustrate his point, DC compared it to an elite athlete stepping away from their craft for years, saying even the greatest performers lose an edge without constant repetition. For Cormier, McGregor may still be dangerous, but today's MMA landscape is stronger and more advanced than it was at the height of his career. Meanwhile, Usman Nurmagomedov remains unconvinced that McGregor's comeback will go exactly as planned. He questions whether the former champion will even make it to a fight with Max Holloway, pointing to the challenges that come with such a lengthy layoff. Even so, Usman admits that if McGregor does complete a successful return, it would instantly become one of the biggest stories the sport has seen in years.
Because we mentioned the Irish. I mean, Conor McGregor. One, do you think he actually makes it to that fight? And two, you think he beats Max Holloway?
First of all, I don't believe he's gonna come. He's gonna be a fight with him. This is first. Second, if he will, I'm not sure he's gonna beat, because 5 years to staying away from this sport, this is like too much. It's very long. And the third one, if he will beat him, this is good for MMA. He's beginning talk and more fans come back.
You said Conor winning is good for MMA.
Yes, if he will win, for this is good for.
I agree.
That is what it is, brother. This is
the stars.
Yeah.
When it comes to making a prediction, MMA Guru gives the slight edge to Max Holloway. Still, he believes Conor McGregor's size and physical strength could become a real factor if they're still effective deep into the fight. For him, though, the biggest unknown isn't McGregor's power, it's how he'll perform after spending so much time away from the octagon. MMA Guru believes this matchup will finally answer the question everyone has been asking. Can McGregor still compete at the highest level against an elite opponent fighting at full speed?
I'm excited to see him back. I'm excited to see how he looks. I think the build-up's going to be fun. I think he's missed it. Genuinely, he's worked very hard to get here. Great opportunity for Max, obviously, after the Charles fight. You wouldn't have thought that he would get an opportunity that was bigger than that one, but here he is. Bigger stage, bigger name, bigger opponent, primetime international fight week, and that card will likely have Patty, Gable Steveson. That's big time stuff. That's old school international fight week. So,
building on that prediction, MMA Guru believes Conor McGregor will be at his most dangerous in the early stages, when his speed, power, and explosiveness are at their peak. But if Holloway can weather that early storm, he expects the momentum to gradually shift. MMA Guru questions whether McGregor's added size and long layoff could begin to work against him as the fight wears on, ultimately giving Holloway the advantage through his relentless pace, elite conditioning, and proven ability to keep pushing until the final bell.
I'm going to go towards Max Holloway, and I'm leaning towards Max Holloway. But I don't know if, McGregor's going to at least have 10 pounds on him, dude. He has put on a lot of size. Is that a recipe for disaster for him if this does go into the later rounds? Yes. I'm talking about a McGregor fight in 2026. I'm breaking down a Conor McGregor fight in 2026, dude. I actually can't believe I'm saying these words. We're so back. The White House card, Strickland beats Chimaev. If only Yuri wouldn't have fumbled it. Yuri, you fool. It's all good though, man. We're so...
As the debate continues, Brendan Schaub isn't convinced Conor McGregor can simply return and look like the same fighter who once dominated the sport. After spending years away from elite competition, Schaub believes there are still major questions that only Fight Night can answer. In his view, McGregor couldn't ask for a much tougher comeback than facing Max Holloway, whose relentless pressure, non-stop output, and ability to wear opponents down make him one of the most difficult matchups in the UFC.
It makes it interesting in the later rounds because McGregor's put on some big size and he's been inactive, and of course his calf is going to be a target for Max Holloway, although that's not something that Holloway typically does. It's not like a weapon of his that McGregor has to watch out for, and McGregor's going to have a lot of power at 170 though on the other side of things, and Holloway just had a lot of momentum snatched away from him by Charles Oliveira, and this is very quickly announced as well. Like last week this was rumored and then now it's official,
And I feel like that's by design from Conor McGregor. Maybe Holloway was hearing about some things, but this doesn't really give Holloway time to think about adjusting to 170. He's probably going to show up in 155 shape and just not cut the weight at all. I'm leaning towards Holloway, though. I don't think you can just dip in and out of this game. McGregor is really good, and he's going to be dangerous early, and it would be interesting and crazy if he does just chin Holloway immediately.
Brendan Schaub also believes the fight becomes more dangerous for Conor McGregor with every passing round. In his opinion, the longer the contest stays alive, the more it shifts toward Max Holloway. Schaub points to Holloway's incredible durability, relentless pace, and comfort competing at welterweight as the qualities that could gradually wear McGregor down. That's why he sees McGregor's biggest opportunity coming early, before endurance and pressure begin to dictate the fight.
Fun, or is he going to go personal against, and like Max Holloway's a family guy, good dude, so is he going to go super dirty, like personal, like he even did that with Dustin Poirier and his wife? It's like, I don't know what lane he can take with Max. Also, he's been out for so long, and you know, even the Dustin Poirier build up, he talked all this shit and they see his leg fall off. So I think we're thinking of the days when he was talking all that, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over, all that. That's all fine and dandy when you're winning. When you haven't won in 7 years, it's a tough sell, man, as far as that hype. You know what I'm saying? Awful fight for him. Stylistically, it's a horrible match.
Max is going to be so strong at 170, being able to eat whatever, you know, I mean, within reason, but being able to eat whatever he wants, being able to be as strong as you've ever seen him.
I think the thing to think about is, you know, Max Holloway's always been Mr. Durable, kind of like Nate Diaz. And once that goes, it's a sad, sad thing to watch. So it's like, the questions are, is Max Holloway still Mr. Durable? We know if this fight goes in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, it favors Max. Conor's never been a cardio guy. It's just not his thing. Mm-hmm. So if this goes 4 and 5, that's going to definitely favor Max. Max has been active. Like, I would put Conor at like a plus 500. I think he's a plus 300. I put him at plus 500.
With UFC 329 almost here, the predictions are still divided. Some believe Conor McGregor is ready to deliver one of the greatest comebacks the sport has ever seen. Others believe Max Holloway's relentless pace, proven durability, and years of staying active will be too much to overcome. The only certainty is that all the questions will finally be answered when the cage door closes. Now it's your turn. Who leaves UFC 329 with the victory, Conor McGregor or Max Holloway? Let us know your prediction in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest UFC news, fight analysis, and MMA updates.